It will take a little longer than planned to complete the video setup where I will present myself in person, so we'll narrate this video as we usually do. The next one will hopefully be a face video. Many people have asked us questions about the grid, how to exit the matrix, and what we might encounter in the process. We've also noticed, understandably, that there is quite a lot of fear around it. Therefore, let's go over in more detail the way Ariel and I understand it. When your body expires, your etheric bodies that make up your current avatar will separate themselves from the physical body. The next etheric body you will perceive yourself inhabiting is your astral body, which is a blueprint of the physical body. You will, in most cases, now have a 360-degree vision. When you're separated, you'll see your physical body below you. As soon as you realize that you're dead, look up with your physical body as a reference point. Above you, you will see the electromagnetic grid. So how does the grid look like? We've learned that it will most likely look like a toroidal field, just like the field that surrounds the human body. People have seen different colors, so it all depends on your own perceptions. I know that in 2008, and I wrote about this in the WesPenre papers, a huge hole was created in the grid, in addition to other holes that are all over the place. The huge hole was created by a space war in the real solar system in the Ka, and even scientists noticed this hole back in 2008, and they freaked out about it. They couldn't explain it, and it was in the news. You can Google it. Since then, scientists have tried to figure out how to repair this huge hole, not knowing what caused it. They are quite alarmed. Over the last few years, the grid has weakened significantly, and again, the scientists don't know why. We do, based on my research and the research Ariel and I have done together. Scientists explain that the grid is held in place by Earth, which is only partially true. We humans and all other life forms on Earth are holding it together with our soul energy. This is why it looks like a toroidal field. We are bioelectrical beings, and it's our energy that keeps the matrix in place. Now, as people are waking up, the grid is weakening. Instead of being fearful, we should rejoice, because if the grid comes down, it's the end of the matrix. Earth as we know it will be destroyed. We can't create a paradise on this planet, because if we keep the grid in place, it means that we keep the entire constructed matrix in place, and we will still be trapped. In addition, when the great majority of the population wake up, the grid will come down, due to that we have learned the truth, and the grid can no longer hold us encapsulated here. This means that Enki's fake reality construct will fall apart. No more Earth. Everybody will die and enter the Ka, whether they want to or not. So, however we look at it, weakening the grid and terminating the matrix are good things. After you've spotted the grid, look for holes. There should be plenty of them, like a Swiss cheese, and you can focus on any of these holes. Someone asked us if the holes will be black, and we would say that this is most likely how you would perceive them. Now focus on one of these holes and project yourself through it. In an instant you will be out on the other side. Now you have left the matrix and have entered the Ka, the real universe. How do you know that you have exited the matrix? You will know because things around you will look very different from what NASA has told us. Space as we know it is a construct inside the matrix. We will discuss this in more details in future videos. So if you still just see planets, stars and galaxies in the same fashion we've been told, you're still in the matrix. Not to worry though, because if you do exit the grid, you are in the car. How does it look like in the car? What could we expect to see and experience? We don't know. It's something we humans can't fully comprehend until we've experienced it firsthand. It is our conclusion, however, that we will recognize at least some of it, because before we got trapped in the matrix, we did live in the car as original humans, Namlu'us, so memories will most likely return. Let's go back and discuss the astral for a while, and why it's so important to focus on the exit point as soon as possible after death. Most of what we experience when we astral travel is thought forms. They can manifest there in all shapes and forms and for whatever purpose. The irony is that it's we humans who have created these thought forms over time. Contrary to what we might think, it's not the work of the overlords who did it. Of course, other entities can manifest there as well, such as spirit guides and other beings who serve the overlords. You might also encounter what appears to be friends and relatives coming to meet and greet you. I said appears to, because they are very rarely your real relatives and friends. They are mostly projections. They might act precisely like these people did on Earth, but the overlords and their cohorts have access to the Akashic records, which is just a digital memory bank, storing everything that has happened in the Matrix, including everyone's memories across the incarnations. In the death moment, it appears that our personality is scanned in the astral and the Between Lives area, BLA. This only takes a moment, and the astral beings will know everything about you. Thus, they can project fake friends and relatives in order to lure you into the recycling trap again. We believe that the spirit guides we encounter in the astral might be projections too, but not always. It depends on the circumstances. We will talk more about spirit guides and the astral in an upcoming video. Important is not to interact with any of these so-called beings. They are trained, or in most cases, the artificial intelligence behind the projected persons, beings, are well programmed, and there is no use arguing with these beings or projections. First, it halts your process unnecessarily, and second, any halt might help them to lure you into agreeing to go for another incarnation cycle. Some say they want to give the overlords and the astral beings the finger, or say a few well-prepared words to these entrappers, but we strongly suggest not to pay attention to any of that. It's just our ego speaking, and using the ego in this sense is just reactive and not proactive. It will only create potential problems. If you linger in the astral, there is a chance someone comes to your aid, or so it might seem. Someone asks if they can help you, even to exit the grid. Do not fall for it, because it's not a trap. You can do this yourself. When you leave your body, you might see the grid first, or you might see the tunnel first. It depends. The tunnel can appear anywhere, in front of you, above you, behind you, or on either side. You might feel a pull toward the tunnel, partly because you experience an overwhelming feeling of love coming over you, wanting you to experience more of that, and partly because it has an energetic pull. When it comes to the former, the extensive love you feel is soul energy the overlords have sampled from us humans and amplified it to a level we as humans have never felt before while in the Matrix. This is why it's so tempting to go into that direction and neglect everything else. When it comes to the latter, that's another reason why you want to exit as quickly as possible, before the pull from the tunnel becomes too strong. Don't pay attention to the tunnel. Look in another direction, but still upwards, until you see the grid and focus on your task at hand, which is to exit. Don't let yourself be distracted with what you experience around you, if you even experience anything, because not everybody does until later. Also, don't be distracted by focusing on earthly attachments, such as friends, lovers, relatives, or other things you left behind when you died. If you do, that will potentially make the exit more difficult, if possible at all. Now, let's talk about time-space in the matrix in relation to the ka. To begin with, time in the astral is irrelevant. It's not the same as it is on Earth. In the astral, time is subjective. It doesn't follow any clocks. When it comes to stars, planets, and space, the way we look at these things, they are all matrix constructs. The entire matrix exists within Earth and its atmosphere, and also includes space and the entire 4% universe. All of this exists within what we perceive as our planet. Yes, even the stars, galaxies, and planets, as we know them, are inside the Earth grid. We will talk about this in a future video. We have good reasons to believe that the grid is the electromagnetic field that surrounds the Earth. Flat earthers and concave earthers may now object and tell me that Earth is not a sphere, and they are both correct from what we have concluded. But that is also for another video and is irrelevant for this one. Although space is constructed to be within the matrix, it's a projection, and you will most likely not experience stars and planets before you exit. The projections are physical and not etheric. However, when you've exited, the first thing you might encounter is the real solar system, with the true sun and planets. Be prepared though, because they might not look the way you're used to. Once you're out, you're free to experience whatever you like. You can travel anywhere in the car with your thoughts and intentions, and it will happen in an instant. If you think, I want to go to where the Queen resides in Orion, you will be there more or less instantly. Also, when you exit the matrix, you will shed what Ariel and I call the artificial soul, which is what connects you with trauma, fear, and doubt. You will now be your true self, a composite of bright shining soul fires, which in turn composes an avatar body. You will shed all the light bodies you inhabited in the matrix, except your true avatar body, which is you. If you have fears and doubts now, they will not remain once you're out of here. Everything you've experienced here will only remain within you as memories and experiences, without any lingering fear and trauma. You are finally a free being, loving, compassionate, joyful, and curious. While still here on Earth, try not to dwell in fear regarding this. People tend to over-dramatize the whole thing, digging deep into all what-ifs. That is not helpful, and once you're out of here, you will realize that all these fears were part of your life within the matrix. They no longer apply. So, 1. Already now, go over in your mind your entire exit strategy in the following steps. Stick to it when it's time, and don't change anything after you've died. And do not involve yourself in self-doubt. 2. When you realize you're dead, look up until you see the grid. Spot the holes in it. If you encounter anything whatsoever in the astral, pretend it's not there, and focus on the grid and your task. Don't interact with anything if you want to make this journey smooth. 4. Think yourself going through a hole in the grid. 5. Instantly, you will be outside the matrix and in the car. What you will experience depends on your own perceptions, but it will be different from anything you've experienced in the matrix. 6. Get used to your own environment as you wish, and then decide what you want to do. You might want to explore, or you might want to go to the Court of Orion to get debriefed and helped. Whatever it is, just think yourself to your destination. 7. You will become a creator god and create whatever you want out in the car. You will create with your thoughts. If you need any help with this, there is plenty of assistance in Orion. Please consider being a patron if you want to participate in our Discord chats, where we discuss different topics. We currently plan on having chats every second weekend. If you're interested, please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/WesPenre and sign up on Tier 3 or Tier 4. This is also an excellent way to support us. Thank you all for your interest in our work. That's it, folks. I guess that should do it. We'll meet on the other side.